one before the tournament started. They kind of just assumed Take Care Cobra was going to make it to the finals.
Take Care is going to take the whole tournament.
It is what it is. Supple's winning the tournament. Like, that's not a question. Like,
wiped out Take Care Bears. The second door, they wiped out Swipe Knight, and now they're knocking on the door of Take Care Cobra. Like, leadership that it takes to get a guild, to get a community, to get an organization to this point is cataclysmic. And first taking no damage, and there's the engage from Supple. That does not look good. TC's flankers get outside this. Look at TC Cobra. Straw Hats is just no match. The health bars from Vanity, the moment that they become vulnerable, just get absolutely obliterated. Look at the low ground health bars for Supple. They're trying to heal each other back up. Tweaks is really low. Untitled is really low. 38, 39, twice 40 members of Take Care standing tall together.
Again, from Tier, they're now 85%. They're not stopping.
Enough. 21 people on the plate. 36 for TC. TC desperately trying to stand tall. 5% for Chill right now. Tier battling, doing what they can, staying on top. 34 to 32, 86%. TC Cobra looks like they're gonna push through.
Bloodbath. Will we see a 2-0? Will we see 3 maps like we saw for our bronze medal match earlier? Only time will tell. We're in the first 5 minutes of map number 1 of your 2024/2025. No, it all started in 2025. I don't know. Math is hard. It all started in 2025, but it looks like they're both spawning and they're both starting, and it looks like a few of the kills starting off on the side of Supple. I have a huge red feed on my side. Looks like Supple's just better into position, but it doesn't look like TC sent everyone. It looks like they just sent a bit, but Supple is getting onto the point with a conviction, excuse me, as they are now trying to see where the rest
from the
of
other
Supple
side.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
TC
they're
from
right
the other side, but
the rest of their guild blue.
Because half their guild got wiped initially, they're at half health bars, and they're not ready to go. They're all clumped up. Supple's nice and spread. They're ready to go. TC moves in, but the Bards of the Snake are not ready. Their flankers are not in position here. Supple dives in, and it looks very convincing. Look at the flankers from Supple collapsing down on the back line from TC. Not a good engage from TC, but that looks like they might be turning it around as they find the priority targets. The front line from TC pushing through, doing a great job of bringing the fight back toward the Riftstone right now. TC's health bar looking really strong right now, but Supple winning out on the early engage on this one. Gretton, honestly, TC pushing this fight over toward the stone. I'm not sure that Supple thought that this was going to be this close. A fair amount of Supple people, 2 statics or so, are trying to split the TC members as they run back to the fight, but TC is winning the main skirmish engage over here.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like weird, you know, posturing and testing that's going to happen early on in the first 5 minutes like we're seeing. This is where both guilds try to figure out who the hell they can hit and who they can't hit, right? Can they actually punch through this tank's defenses or no? Can they actually hit this DPS, or are they built to fully counter the fact that I'm a bow dagger and I only do range, right? This is a lot of the limit testing that these players are doing right now. The micros are you know, probably yapping away more than we are, Blue, trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do when the stone becomes active? Because we have 2 very convincing just fights happening. We have one very north near Portal 3, and then one closer that is west of the Boonstone right now. And I, again, have access to the feed, and it's back and forth. There was a lot of red, then there's some blue that comes in. Then there's a lot of red, and then there's some blue that comes in. So I'm very curious to see when now both these kind of units have to collide and meet on the Riftstone. I'm curious on who's actually going to out-macro the other guild.
Yeah, I think that Supple was winning kind of the main engage. Just a few more people there, but TC Cobra able to hold on, and then TC Cobra way more people over here winning this engage as well. So again, it's a very back and forth with 2 minutes left before the first stone can actually be acquired here. TC Cobra looking like their health bars are really low. Oh my gosh, look at the healers bringing them right back into it right there. Combat, one of the top fraggers for TC Cobra in the middle of everything right there. Then TC Cobra with slightly better posture on the Riftstone right now, but Supple trying to clamp down on them, but they have so many T-Cobras running around in their backline. Continuum's back here, Kit Cutie's back here, Thornmail is back here, Yaya is back here, and that's the front line trying to disrupt on the side of Supple. Supple trying to ignore them completely, and then there's the Supple front line. Up in there you see Dex diving into the middle of everyone. Ray with that dagger, probably a spear dagger, yes it is, trying to disrupt on that back line and get damage down, but not able to find anything.
Kind of a block of, like, you know, 6 to 10 kills at a time, and that's just, it looks like the different play styles from both of these guilds. As I said, I see another, you know, double refresh of the kill feed for Supple, and a couple of, you know, blue kills sneaking in there as well. So 45 seconds left. This fight is going to start moving very close to the Rift Zone as it becomes almost time to start the cap. And look at that Columb as Supple just annihilates an entire section of TC's main ball.
Yeah, that was an insane collapse down. Supple in the middle of all the chaos. I saw, ooh, TC Cobra's a little bit too close to the edge of this cliff right here, and the entire guild collapses down and wipes TC Cobra, and then takes dominant control of the Rift Zone right there. A beautiful pivot from Supple in the middle of all that chaos to make that play happen, to see that opportunity for them. And you see the TC Cobra pulling in a few people, getting a couple kills themselves, a couple of them dying as well. Again, very back and forth, but Supple's front line diving in. There's the Supple. Oh my goodness, I would not want to be hit by those flash waves. That's a lot of damage. Supple dominating the Rift Zone. They're looking for the cap right now, Gretton.
Yeah, but the tanks from TC are doing a really good job of interrupting it. Thornmail and Continuum and Kit Cutie are the three that are just positioned on the stone. And as always, we have Tweaks, we have Sir Loki, we have Jaeger, we have Untitled trying to get the cap. And Supple does manage to spin the stone first. Now they have to kind of regroup and get people on the point. We've seen it in every game tonight where the team that caps first actually is somehow at a disadvantage just because of... Yeah, which is crazy because for the rest of the tournament, you wanted to cap first. So will Supple be the first guild to potentially cap first and win the map today? Or will it be more of a, you know, back and forth like we saw in the last, you know, bronze medal match?
Yeah, and we see TC Cobra actually making great efforts to try and lock down the cap here for their team. Another 60-70. No, he's going to get interrupted again. But you see all the pockets of fighting as the TC Cobras are trying to occupy. That's the flank squad for TC Cobra, trying to lock down as many Supple members as they can to buy their main ball time so that they can get this cap off. Ellipsis might get there. He does find it. And it's TC Cobra on the board for the first time in the grand finals. Both guilds find their way into the cap right here, but it's Supple with more people on the point right now, but it looks like it might be swinging more towards TC Cobra as they collapse down, just running out of health bars though. Supple looks like they have much better posture on the Rift Zone, Gretton.
Yeah, like we saw in Mordecai yesterday, Supple does such a great job of just staying spread and focusing all their firepower on individual quadrants of the stone, and that's exactly what they're doing here to just very barely maintain an advantage. And you see their actual range players on the side of Supple dipping in when they need to, dipping out when they have the advantage. They're kind of playing their lives, but also playing super safe, and a big kill feed here for Supple as they take a significant advantage on this stone. They're going to be the first guild over 50% in this grand final now, as it looks like the respawns from TC are coming in, but I'm not sure if it's enough, or they're coming in a little bit staggered maybe, because I'm still seeing a lot of red on my kill feed here, and it's just Supple spinning this over and over again. Now almost under 10 people on the stone for the side of TC, as a huge respawn wave coming in from the north side of the map now, and this is where TC needs to stabilize, because their cap has now been denied. They have to actually recap this as Supple's continuing to climb above 65% blue.
Yeah, it might be almost intentional though, as they might be like, okay, well, we're gonna let them cap first and then take our time capping it the second time. Maybe they watched the previous matches because it looked really, really close there for a second, and then it looked like TC almost intentionally took their foot off the gas pedal right now. You know that Alec is sitting in a Discord call with all of his e-girls right now, and he's just stroking them, saying, look how good my boys are performing in Supple, even without me right now. TC Cobra doing what they can to battle on this backline, but the Supple flankers look like they're getting the upper hand time and time again on TC Cobra, as the statics consistently do a great job. Big sleep on the backline right there for TC Cobra as they pile people onto the point, but it's just never enough. The red onslaught is really powerful for Supple in this first map.
Okay. He's too busy chopping cheese to be in VCs, just like Lucy said. But TC's gonna rejoin the cap now, as they have 20 people on the point queue. Supple's 19, and it looks like now TC's swarming this point, but they're just gonna be walking into a blender of DPS and flash waves from the side of Supple. But it looks like TC has a really good posture here on this eastern side of the Rift Zone in the conflict zone. But again, flash wave after flash wave after flash wave after flash wave. That's all I'm seeing on my screen from Supple. They are just methodical in just always having damage up. We've seen it a lot where guilds just dump all their cooldowns and then they kind of get walked over. Supple's doing a really good job of playing tempo here, which is what I love to see from, you know, my boys. And they are the first guild to cap as Ellipsis is trying to get a second cap off. Looks like he's actually going to be able to. No, he gets interrupted at the last second by one of the tanks from Supple. And now it's 15 minutes of Supple playing defense. And like we saw in map 2 and 3 of the bronze medal match, Blue, this is actually a disadvantaged position to be in.
Yeah, like it absolutely can be, as long as TC Cobra can get their players onto the point. But I'll be honest, Brenton, I think TC's strength against Supple, where they win, is not this extended skirmish. Supple loves this play style where you can just let their statics, they finally get another cap off. Beautiful, but they don't have enough people on the point right now for TC Cobra. Supple loves to just sit here and let the chaos fester. They're like the Joker in Batman. They thrive in the chaos because their individual statics work really well together, and then they look like such a cohesive unit. TC Cobra, on the other hand, works better when their main ball is basically all clumped up and engaging with one another. I would love to see them. They need to try to back up, I think.
Yeah, they're just standing on the point now, 8 to 13. Slowly, TC's cap is getting drained. They're below 5.5% now. And again, the cap has been thwarted by the side of Supple. It only took a minute for that to happen. And instantly, as I said that, we have Thornmail back on. Ellipsis is going to be back on as well. Continuum is going to be back on as well. They're just going to try to get as many opportunities to cap the stone as possible, to try to maybe get Supple on the back foot. Maybe Supple blunders, maybe they get too cocky. This is what TC is trying to capitalize on, is just, hey, we just need to keep throwing ourselves at the stone, get the cap, keep it active for as long as possible, because if they manage to sneak a cap here with, you know, 5, 6, 4 minutes left, then it is what it is.
Yeah, I think one or two individual statics from Supple are holding up the majority of TC Cobra from really operating as the unit that they really want to operate as. And so I think TC Cobra looks a little bit more spread, a little less dangerous than they normally look against these other players. And you can see, look at these statics basically fighting off in the wings, and they're just losing out. No, they finally take down that Supple static right there, and now they get to rejoin the fight. But look, it took them so long. Supple's dominating the point here. As you move over, it's a lot of red names. Here comes TC Cobra. Finally looks like a little bit more grouped up with the flankers out on the side, but the flankers not able to collapse down the way they normally would, like the jaws of the Cobra that we were talking about before the match happened. You see the two split right there. TC Cobra on the right, TC Cobra on the left, but the left squad is just not being allowed forward, and the right squad is slowly losing, but they are going to get a cap off, which is good for them. 13 people on the point to 16. Supple does not want to overcommit with people on the point. They know that they're winning this match right now. All they need to do is just keep one more person, one more set of boots on the point over their opponent's run.
Yeah, they're doing a phenomenal job of just controlling the space. It's like the inverse of what Tyr was doing. Tyr was doing a really good job of controlling the actual point and making sure the only people on the point are people they wanted to be on the point. And then Supple's doing a really good job of controlling everything that isn't the point. If you try to get to the point, you're like you're playing Frogger and you're trying to jump through a freeway. That's exactly what's happening here as you try to get to the point. And then when you get to the point, you have a bunch of tanks to deal with. You have still DPS, some spear players, some flankers to deal with. So it's really hard for TC to actually get a footing here on this Ripstone. They're doing a pretty good job of it right now, but just as I mentioned, they bring 15, Supple brings 20. They bring 5, Supple brings 10. They're just doing a great job of keeping just enough people on the stone to make sure that TC can't actually cap it.
Yeah, and I just want to point out that TC looked the best and were getting caps off when they group up as a guild. Like I said before, they look the strongest when they operate together. This individual skirmish play, like you said, everything the light touches is Supple's kingdom. If you're going to spread out like this, they're just going to skirmish you down with their statics. But TC sees the light of day. They see really positive feeds when they group up and they push as a wall like they normally do. They push as the unit that we're used to seeing them as, but that's not what we're seeing here. Look at how disgruntled they look. They're all over the place, and TC just can't manage to get that foothold as long as they keep trying the same strategy. We need to see them back up. They fail yet another cap on this, and I think that they need to be yeah, I know. I think they really need to be rethinking this strategy. You need to look at what's working for you. When are we getting caps off? When we push together. When are we getting a lot of kills? When we push together. We are stronger as a guild when we push together than Supple is. But if we allow this to devolve into chaos, Supple's individual players are just admittedly stronger in this first match.
Yeah. I think you're right. I mean, Supple is just doing such a good job of this organized chaos is what I like to call the Supple strat. Someone mentioned it in the chat that like Supple looks really disorganized, but they're just keeping TC at bay. And that's exactly what their game plan is. Because if you're TC here, where do you hit? Who do you hit? There's like little pockets of 6 to 10 people. It looks like TC's still trying to get a cap off as the tank core from Supple trying to spin the point. Thornmail, Continuum, Kick QD, all these guys are trying to get a cap off, but they're just still walking into a blended loop.
Yeah, I think that TC Cobra could adjust this very quickly. All of this, part of what's lending to Supple's success here is they're spawning from this #1 location over here and just running in all from that way, completely unimpeded. And TC Cobra, because of where Supple has chosen to fight, basically has the fight going on from the moment you spawn in to the rift. You're basically like, do I want to fight there? No. Do I want to fight there? No. And I think that TC Cobra would be better off if they just sent like 2 or 3 statics to spawn on the other side, force the fight to come back to the rift zone, allow your guys to group up a little bit better, and let your flankers do what your flankers do best. Here they've got a big group up right now over here. TC has decided to back up and look for something. Their front line is already in. This looks really good, but I'm not sure where their flankers are going to be able to find space. They're giving Supple time. No, they pulled the trigger. No, they're too low. Their front line has pulled the trigger, but Supple on the back foot right now. They're going to let TC Cobra come to them. That's not really what you want to see. TC Cobra looks a little nervous, and they're going to engage it. All sides, everywhere, and that's a much better looking push. That's a lot of blue right there coming in for TC Cobra, looking really good. Their main ball.
Oh, no. Oh no, Blue, they're getting stomped. That was a classic bait and switch from Supple. Oh no.
It looks so good though.
This is not good. And they gave Kilosh exactly 30 seconds to type 5 lines of text of shit talk, and then they just walked into him and got absolutely obliterated by the side of Supple. It looked so good until Krelik said, hey guys, plant your feet, turn around, it's duck hunting season, boys. And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, and the shit talk is going back and forth. You love chat PvP. TC Cobra backing up, and I'll be honest with you, the initial engage looked okay from TC, but they seemed a lot more hesitant than they normally do. Normally, it's just like a wave sweeping into the enemy guild, and that time it was like, do we go in? I don't know. The flankers went in at the same time as the main ball. It didn't look as congruent as we normally see from TC Cobra. It looked okay from the start, but then Supple very quickly won the flank engage and then collapsed down on the main ball and just ate the rest of the main ball. TC with a pretty good push right here, but honestly, again, they're all clumped up. It's only going to take a Supple member. Oh my god! Yeah, like I said, that you clump up like that for just a couple seconds too long, and Supple blankets you with 4 flash waves, and down you go. TC just a little bit too clumped up right there. They don't even have a cap on the point right now, Brenton. They have to rethink this.
Yeah, take a look at the scoreboard. We saw Spear reign supreme in almost every single matchup, but just look at the top 10. We have 2 Spears in the top 10. It's all Supple, but it's all their range score. They are just positioning like kings here and mowing through this TC main ball. It is insane seeing this split on the top 10 because we haven't seen something this heavily range, range centric unless it's a Supple match.
Yeah, and you'll notice that their composition is almost entirely, it's bow staff, bow staff, bow staff, bow staff, spear dagger. Spear dagger, bow staff, bow dagger, right? Like you can see there's a trend here. There's like very, very few great swords. And honestly, yes, they have tanks towards the bottom, but it looks like they're kind of a DPS heavy composition. If you have a bow in your hand, welcome to the guild kind of composition on this one. And that's what I've said from the beginning is that, yeah, spear dagger looks really strong, but it's the bows that end up winning you ultimately in these team fights like this. TC finally does get a cap off on the point, and they've gotten a little bit of momentum here. They've got more people on the point, and the percentage is starting to climb. 6.5 minutes on the clock. We'll see if they can hold this together. 19 to 12, actually holding up pretty well.
Yeah, TC actually looks really clean on this take. They're moving a lot better than they were in the last, 14 minutes of this match. And I think they're finally finding the pockets that they can, gain real estate in. But again, they're just losing the battle of attrition to this very spread out Supple comp. This is I think the closest match we've seen from Supple and from TC. Well, not TC, excuse me, but from Supple at least, this is their closest match that we've seen. On TC's side, they had a nail biter against Tier, and I think they just need to kind of suss out and learn a little bit more about Supple plays, and maybe they'll use the last 5 minutes of this match to do so. Maybe they're going to try for the win in map number 1, but I do think map number 2, we're going to see a lot more solid group play from TC if they lose this one here.
Yeah, and it does look like it's trending that way. It's like they just can't keep enough people on the point. And you'll notice Supple just tiptoeing, just 1 or 2 people more on the point. But look at the battle. TC Cobras are really having a hard time even getting forward. Supple at any point can just add 3 people to the point if they would like to. Now finally TC Cobra actually with a fair amount, a good clump, gets up to the point. But oh my gosh, a flash wave takes down all their health bars, their healers, putting in overtime right now to keep them alive, and they are keeping their hopes alive in this match. But yeah, you have to be looking ahead to the next match here. Okay, what do we need to do better? I'm curious, Bretton, if you're Supple, do you let them have Azriel in the next match?
I think they just look better spread out, right? Supple does than TC. I don't hate going to Azriel for match 2. I really don't hate it. After watching this, I like that if I'm Supple.
Yeah, I'm thinking the next match is probably going to be Azriel. It is Take Care Cobra's home base. That's where they love to play all of their war games on. But I'll be honest with you, 25 people on the point, 25% in climbing, doing a solid job of battling back into this one. I'm not sure if they have enough time based on how the rest of the match has been going. But honestly, TC Cobra showing some life toward the end here. It does not have to be a one-sided stomp like this. It does not have to be all Supple all the time. They're seeing that, okay, when we work together, when we actually, like, they're starting to feel out. I don't think that they fought a whole lot of Supple in the past. They're starting to feel out their players. They're starting to understand, okay, that guy does damage. Okay, that's what we need to focus down. That's what we need to lock down for this one. And I think they're starting to understand their players a little bit, and that's why we're starting to see, okay, yeah, no, it's looking a little bit closer towards the end here, whereas Supple was a little bit quicker to understand what they needed to do into TC Cobra, probably because they had more VODs to review. Quite frankly, TC Cobra constantly doing war games all the time shows Supple exactly what their play style is. He shows them who their heavy hitters are basically all the time. And Supple, there's not as much data out there for TC Cobra. And as they're adapting as we go here, you can see 30 people on the point to 23. It's climbing, Breton, 28%. And climbing for TC Cobra as they start to figure this Supple ball out.
Yeah, Supple needs to actually start clearing out these people on the point, or else it's gonna actually, we're gonna see a last-minute cap like we saw in the other matches, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to figure out these pockets to wipe it. Oh my god, there's a huge clump here, and they're just gonna absolutely mow through it. But their flankers are still playing through spread. This is why it's not super concerning, I think, for Supple, because they have like 12, 18 people who are very healthy, who are just not on the point. And I think that's by design. They want to continue funneling the TC people onto the point, and then if they need the extra, 10 people on the point, they can just make a call. All right, guys, step on the point. And that looks like what they're doing. They're kind of almost edging the TC squad at like between 30 and 40%. But again, Blue, that is so risky because one wrong step, you guys get wiped. And we saw it. We saw Press W go from 1 to 50% in the matter of seconds.
Yeah, I don't think this is intentional at all from Supple. I think that this is Supple fumbling a little bit here and losing grip of the match as TC Cobra starts to understand which targets they need to be locking down, who they need to be focusing. You do not see a 27 to 14 swing like this with 40% cap on the point with only 2.5 minutes left on the clock, intentionally out of Supple, because that's just a throw right there. And they're battling back. You can see it is very back and forth on this one. As again, I think TC was a little bit slower to attack. Too Supple, it was a little bit more of a hiccup, which is surprising considering they did have a boonstone a little bit earlier, but maybe some of them, or a lot of them maybe didn't participate in that boonstone. They just weren't as ready as the Supple guys were to engage right off the rip, but you can see just how close it is now that both sides have kind of adapted to each other's play styles.
Yeah, and it looks like Supple is getting into a little bit more of a brawl-centric, posture. I think that does favor TC, though. TC does look like they are just going to be able to punch a little harder in close quarters. But, I mean, it's very back and forth on this kill feed, Blue, if I'm being completely honest with you. They're climbing now. They have 8 more people, 10, 12 more people on the point. Here comes the respawn now from Supple. Supple's going to step on the point now and start wiping some people off. And here comes the flip. This is exactly what you want if you're TC. A minute left.
What is
you're at 46%. It is Supple's game to lose here.
Supple? We're gonna get about 50% here for TC Cobra. Supple starting to panic a little bit. They do pile people onto the point with 30 people here, but TC Cobra starting to battle in a massive amount of TC Cobra. Just got wiped out right there.
No, they're all dead. They're all dead, Blue. It's all red on my screen. It's all red. They're just all dead.
Just got wiped off there. Supple flips the switch. They need to shut the door on the TC Cobra squad because TC Cobra looked like they were breathing life there for a moment with only 1 minute minutes left on the clock. TC Cobra showing, yeah, we can beat you. Absolutely. And I think this next match, you see, Supple had control of this the entire time, but you don't see matches that are not close get up to 47, 49% on the enemy capping your stone like that, Gretton. That was not supposed to happen. Supple is not used to that. TC Cobra with the adjustment here, and I think even though they lose this map, Gretton, they go into the next one thinking, okay, we have this momentum despite losing the first map.
Yeah, I don't know, it would be interesting to see, like, if we talk to the guilds after, but I feel like we saw a Guardian push right off the rip at the beginning of the fight. I think this was the second Guardian push that we saw from both guilds, and Supple is going to win it, I mean, quite convincingly until the last few minutes, and I want to pick the brains of both guilds of, after this grand finals is done, is what these last few minutes what were the comms were like.
Yeah, 3 point, and I understand the leaderboard is very Supple only favorite, but you need to...
There's 4 minutes left. They're at 28%. This is what they need to do. They need to continue to maintain this, or else Supple is just gonna choke the life out of them. And again, a huge respawn wave from Supple coming in. TC needs to figure out how to stop that from happening, because every time Supple gets a respawn wave, they take 20% of your contribution. Every single time, Blue.
Yeah, and TC Cobra battling as much as they can right now. Supple looking dominant in this tournament. 2-0 every single round of the tournament. 1-0 in the grand finals. Looking at the staring down the barrel of victory to be crowned kings of North America. TC Cobra trying to bite back every which way that they can, but it's just not enough. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock. The percentage is falling dangerously low, Gretton. Time is falling dangerously low. Supple looking like they might start celebrating soon as the feed is looking awful red.
Yeah, it's all red all the time. Suck Fupple indeed. They are just draining the last contribution of TC, 15% and falling. I don't think there's enough time for TC to actually cap again if this cap gets thwarted, and Supple did it by accident or on purpose, but they just played it perfectly in this final 5 minutes of this match.
This is going to be the door shutting on TC Cobra. If they can't get control, they're down at 5%, down at 4%. TC, hope is running out. Time is running out. They can't get the people on the point. There's still some virgin losers on this high ground firing Holy Blonde. Kick that guy from the guild. They will lose it. Supple, Kings of North America, 2.5 minutes on the clock. TC's backline. Holy shit, what are you doing? Supple coordinating better. They look good the whole tournament long, Gretton. They deserve this.
Yeah, and they're gonna try to cap again, but we've seen it before. We've seen it again. They're shit talking already. Movements already yapping easy. This is where the shit talk is gonna come out.
Garbage.
They don't care anymore.
That's
they're
right.
They're just gonna ride this train for the last 2 minutes, I think, Blue. It's crazy.
And you see every single ranged member firing from a high ground from TC right now is actual dog water at the video game. They don't understand how important. Look at the difference between players on the point. Those players are the reason that you're losing this match right here. And I'm telling you, the range every time are the reason that you lose, because they're your worst players. On God, they're your worst players. TC, finally they drop down from the rooftop. Suddenly they have 37 people on the point. What a Christmas fucking miracle, Gretton. Absolutely unbelievable when they actually start to consider having sex for the first time in their godforsaken lives and stand on the point and contribute to something. 33-31. Unbelievable. Supple is going to take this home because they are the dominant guild, because they have the better leadership, because they have the better players, because they are better, Gretton.
I thought I was biased.
I don't give a damn.
Holy shit.
It's so frustrating. I am a shot caller. I have led guilds. You're at the precipice of victory. They're fighting for everything they're worth, and some fucking cock, like named Kings, is standing on the high ground, firing, doing, oh, there he goes, drop down like that. That's what I'm saying, though. You've got to stand on the point and contribute to something in your life. Man, everyone else is fighting for everything it's worth, and you have these people firing from this high ground. It looked like TC figured it out early on, but sadly, they didn't make it very clear to the most dented members of their community that they have got to stand on the point. Supple knew, though. Everyone in Supple has a brain. Everyone in Supple worked together. They deserve this win. 2-0 the whole way through the tournament. The entire leaderboard is Supple Oni. The entire tournament has been Supple Oni. There is no doubt the kings of North America are Supple.